Philippe Clement drops fresh hint that January transfer arrivals are in the pipeline. Michael Stewart reacts to Rangers controversy versus St Mirren live on BBC Sports Scene. Rangers keeper Jack Butland explains why dream transfer almost never happened. Furious Rangers fans launch stinging Ibrox protest with stuttering regime in their sights. To get daily Rangers news at your fingertips, just hit the notification bell. Let's get into the news. We are the people. Philippe Clement's giving us a wee bit of hope heading into January, hinting that we might finally see some proper reinforcements arriving through the door after that tight 2-1 win over St Mirren at Rangers. Clement kept his cool, but you could see he knows exactly what's needed. New blood and sharp minds to keep the squad alive through this brutal season. Injuries have already battered us, and rotating the team is starting to feel like we're picking names out of a hat. 7 new signings started against St Mirren, and Clement made it clear they need to learn fast what it means to play for Rangers. Every match, every trophy, every 3 days, no place to hide. He's sticking to the no-nonsense talk too, saying there are no excuses for slipping up, no matter how packed the fixture list gets. That's what we love to hear from the manager, isn't it? None of that soft pedal nonsense. It's about standing up to the challenge and building a proper squad that can handle the relentless grind. And if Clement gets his way in January, we might finally see a Rangers side with enough depth to rotate without a panic attack every time someone pulls a hamstring. But it's not just Clement hinting at transfers. John Gilligan, our current interim chairman, gave us a sneak preview of what's to come. According to him, there'll definitely be some cash for Clement to play with in January, something we didn't have much of in the summer. He hinted that off-field issues made things tight last window, but now there's supposedly fresh investment on its way to back the Belgian. Sounds promising, but we've been here before, haven't we? Gilligan's also banging on about the usual player trading model, saying we need to sell players to keep things ticking over. We've heard this song before: buy them cheap, sell them high, reinvest, rinse and repeat. But let's be honest, how many players have we shifted for decent money lately? Seems like our best ones leave for free half the time, and the rest barely fetch enough to buy a new corner flag. Apparently, financial sustainability is looking solid, and the accounts will make all of this clear at the next AGM. We'll see about that, eh? Now, here's the kicker. With Clement getting the green light to spend, who do you reckon should get punted to make room? And here's the real question. After all the shoddy business we've done in recent years, do you honestly trust this lot to spend wisely in January? Or are we setting ourselves up for another handful of flops, wearing the famous blue? Well, the knives are already out after that narrow 2-1 win over St Mirren, and it didn't take long for Michael Stewart to start stirring the pot. On BBC Sports Scene, he was up in arms about a penalty claim that St Mirren never got. Apparently, Neresho Kasanwirjo had a coming together with Toyosi Olusanya in the box, but referee Callum Scott wasn't having it. Stewart reckons it was a stonewaller, saying Kasanwirjo caught the striker mid-spin, knocking him off balance. Typical Stewart never misses a chance to imply we've nicked something. He went on about how the ref even pulled play back to an earlier foul on a St Mirren player, which apparently left Stewart surprised the penalty wasn't awarded. Surprised, eh? Funny how these refs only seem to miss the ones that don't go against us. But look, we've seen plenty of those decisions go against us in the past. No one kicked off this much when VAR left us high and dry, did they? That aside, let's not sugarcoat it. Clement must be thanking the heavens we got out of that match with all 3 points. St Mirren are barely keeping their heads above the relegation zone, yet we made hard work of it. It's not exactly filling you with confidence when Aberdeen are waiting for us up at Pittodrie next. They'll be licking their lips if we defend like that again. And Robin Proper getting hooked on the hour mark isn't helping matters. Clement's clearly still searching for a backline he can trust. We're still 6 points off the top, clinging on to the title race by our fingernails, but we won't stay there long if we keep grinding out scrappy wins like this. Aberdeen aren't going to let us off the hook the way St Mirren did, and defensive mistakes up north could cost us dear. So here's the real question. Do you think we got away with one today? Or is Michael Stewart just talking mince again, desperate to paint Rangers as lucky instead of earned winners? Jack Butland's journey to Rangers feels like one of those sliding doors moments, doesn't it? The lad was this close to seeing his career take a very different path. He's now loving life at Rangers, but it could have all turned out differently if things had gone to plan with Manchester United a bit earlier. Turns out the move to Old Trafford was bubbling away in the background 6 months before it happened, but Butland wasn't even aware of it. And in a cruel twist, he broke his hand against United in a pre-season friendly, which forced them to go for Martin Dubravka on loan instead. That injury killed off the move for a while, and you know how these things go. Careers are short and opportunities are slippery. When January rolled around, Newcastle recalled Dubravka, opening the door for Butland's big break. But even though he didn't get any game time at United, the experience still gave him that spark back, reminded him of his ability and what he could offer a big club. That's where the move to Rangers really clicked. Butland knew he had to be somewhere with weight behind it, where the fans care and the stakes are high. And he could have returned to the Premier League with Nottingham Forest, but instead he fancied the proper challenge of going for silverware at Rangers. Respect, that's a keeper with a bit of ambition and grit. He's played for big clubs before, Man United, Crystal Palace, but there's something different about Rangers, isn't there? Butland felt it straight away. The expectation, the pressure, the intensity of playing in front of our crowd. It's a place where you've got to show up every week, no room for passengers. He gets that. And let's be honest, we've had our fair share of shot stoppers over the years who haven't quite managed to rise to that challenge. By the sound of it, Butland sees this move as more than just another job. He's here to make a mark. You can sense he's determined to be more than just a safe pair of hands between the sticks. That's the attitude you want in a player. After a rough patch at Palace and a spell in the shadows at United, he's landed at Rangers hungry to prove himself. And right now, you've got to say, he's looking the part. Steady, confident, commanding, exactly what you need when the team's still trying to find its feet this season. But here's a question for you. Do you reckon Butland made the right call coming to Rangers instead of sticking it out in the Premier League? Or should we be worried that, like so many before him, he'll see us as just a stepping stone back to England when a better offer comes calling? It's fair to say the fans' patience is wearing thinner than the pies at halftime, and the latest protest at Rangers makes that crystal clear. During the 2-1 win over St Mirren, the Union Bears let rip with banners aimed right at the heart of the boardroom, and the Copland Road stand was buzzing with applause. The Rangers faithful have had enough of watching the club limp along after years of mismanagement, lackluster signings, and financial dithering. One of the banners didn't mince its words either. Your ineptitude is destroying our club. Time for fans to force change. That's heavy stuff, but you can't argue with the anger behind it. The fans feel like the glory of winning 55 was thrown straight into the bin, and they're watching Celtic gain ground while we fumble our way through the aftermath. And then there was the second banner, which cut straight to the bone. Worrying about thousands whilst wasting millions? That's a brutal dig at the board's tight-fisted transfer dealings. Since 55, we've been doing little more than scraping by, and fans are seething at the millions wasted on flops who've done that to close the gap with Celtic. Imagine slashing the wage bill by £10 million while the squad still looks more out of sorts than a Saturday pub team. It's no wonder folk are losing the rag. Clement, admitted after the game that the performance needs to improve, but he's already hedging his bets, talking about new players still getting used to the club. Fair enough, it takes time, but fans aren't exactly in the mood for patience, are they? Clement praised the second half for showing more urgency and higher tempo, but the fact remains, scraping wins against teams near the bottom of the table isn't going to cut it when you've got Aberdeen coming up next. So, here's one for you. Are the fans right to turn up the heat on the board and demand change now? Or is this just giving Celtic an edge by distracting us from the pitch? Will a shake-up at the top fix what's happening on the field, or are we just chasing our tails again? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.